communicating and connecting with our galactic, cosmic, and ethereal families. I'm just going to start calling them star families because it's a lot shorter. When we're channeling them or connecting with them in contact, it's really important to recognize that they are different than us in a lot of ways. They have a vast consciousness that is so huge for a lot of them that they are born knowing and accessing. And they don't have a lot of the illusions of separation and forgetting that we do. And many of them will mirror our personality traits and reflect us back to ourselves. So it's important to also know that when we're doing this inner work, this clearing, allowing more of our soul light into our human experience, and really allowing the embodiment of our high self, our soul's essence, that sort of thing, that will be reflected back to us as well, right? So they will mirror our personality to us. They'll mirror our behavior to us in some ways. And really, they meet our behavior and our vibes, what we're holding in that moment, often with the opposite force if it is something that is not in alignment with unity and love. So it really, there's an intention to show us what we might not recognize we're doing or being with that. There is a kindness in it. So I just want to remind us that the love we feel from another being, whether it be another human, a galactic being, cosmic, ethereal being, it is a direct reflection of our soul. And the disdain and fear that we feel as we're looking at the being on the right, some of you, because it has that spidery look to it, that's a reflection of our own consciousness and how we feel about ourselves and others. So when we are expressing in the world, connecting, having contact, physical contact, or contact that is more interdimensional, contact that is through channeling or through visions and downloads and messages, however it's coming in, it's important to bear in mind that anything we feel repelled from, look at it, especially if we know that we have our soul team filtering any and all connection, contact, and communication with any being or non-being. And if you haven't done that yet, I highly recommend just saying, hey, soul team, I request that you filter any and all connection, communication, and contact with any being or non-being in my highest and best good and the highest and best good of all. Now you can rest and trust that anyone that comes in is there for you, right? Is there for you for an exchange, for whatever. But always know you have divine sovereign free will and can choose. And if any of you are experiencing contact or experiences with any being that you feel like is not honoring your divine sovereign free will, I have a blog on my website. If you go to the blog area, there's a release of contracts, a nullification and release of contracts that you can do. I highly recommend reading it. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. And really standing in your sovereignty and your power as you speak the words aloud after you've read through it and understand it. Also, if you don't feel strong enough in that moment, have someone else hold your hand while you do it that can hold space for you and help you stand in your power. You don't want to, when you do that, you don't want to solely rely on them. You want to get to that part inside of yourself, in your heart, where you know who you are. But you can speak those words, and that will nullify the contracts with them if it's high self-approved. So, and most of our divine sovereign free will moments like that will be. So I just want to say it is time to release judgment and separation consciousness, viewing ourselves and others as separate and unworthy, because it really perpetuates this reality and holds it in our lives and in the world. So if you want to see a better world, if you want to experience a world where we truly are embodying more of our high dimensional aspects of consciousness, do it within yourself first. Look at for those streams of consciousness that you're still holding within yours. If you want war to disappear, stop fighting with everybody, stop arguing, stop doing things like that, right? Like figure out the things, the connection points within you and implement them into the release or the transmute that you're going to do for yourself. It's time to set all of this down, really, because if we are staying in a separation consciousness, then we're never truly going to be able to experience the unity that we so deeply desire from our galactic, cosmic, and ethereal family. So it's time to set those programs down. Release judgment and embrace unity. So a lot of us, when we are looking at depictions of galactic, cosmic, and ethereal beings, we expect to see a lot of grays. We see a lot of things that people that look like Pleiadians. But what I get asked, I used to get asked a lot on Clubhouse, it's been a minute since somebody has asked me that, is, are there any beings out there that look like me? And usually this is coming from someone with more melanin in their skin than I have. And my answer to that is absolutely yes. We are so diverse in all of our expressions. Even the Pleiadians, because there's so many different groups of Pleiadians, they have skin hues from a very dark, almost black. They even have like blues and purples and greens, all the way to the really pale skin, right? So there are so many different worlds out there that you can explore, that you'll see people that we favor. And it's humanity is not just on Earth. We are all over the universe. And there's so many different types of beings that have all different varieties of hues, all different sorts of facial structures. You'll see a lot of human hybrid looking ones in these art pieces, but there are so many that we don't look like. I just was having a hard time getting the AI art generator to make a bunch of those. But I just want to remind us that there are so many different beings that have a bad rep that are beautiful, and the hybridization programs are happening all over. I mean, look at Earth for an example. So we think of it as different species, right? But hybridization, I mean, technically it is, right? But there's a version of that happening with humanity all around the world, right? So many of us. I mean, I have so many different ethnicities within my blueprint that it is quite ridiculous. And there's a thing that we do when we reach a particular degree of consciousness expansion, we create life. That is part of source expressing. So in a particular dimensional expression, we start to create life, and we like to pull codes and keys and frequencies from different projects, so to speak, different source expressions, and combine them. And then we go and experience ourselves as that, right? So because it's all in oneness. So I want to just take a moment to honor the beautiful reptilian species. Any of you that are feeling a lot of resistance to this, just remember that you have divine sovereign free will. And I'm not going to force you into anything, but I have a sister. She's not sister by DNA or blood, but in one of my simultaneous Pleiadian lives, she is reptilian. I couldn't get a good image of her here to use here. But she is absolutely amazing, and she is not alone. There's so many different races, as I mentioned earlier, of reptilians that understand themselves in oneness and unity. And I just want to take a moment to say, stop being speciesist. Let it be. Remember that we're all connected. And if you're not resonant with someone, don't hang out with them. You don't have to let people run amok in your life, whether they're from this planet or not. You are a sovereign being. Stand in your sovereignty and say no if they're not resonant with you. I also want to speak about insectoids and other beings that sort of look like them. I've recently had an amazing experience with a group of ethereal wasp beings who I actually shared that experience with my husband. You might hear a little backup noise behind us. I had to do this in a different area of the house today. But I shared it with Sherry and Natalie, who are two of my best friends, and I shared it with my husband as well. So there was like a group experience happening with them, which was quite beautiful. And they came as I was making a request in my sacred bath time. And they told me that the reason they were here was because I was being kind to yellow jackets during the summer. And I had assisted the hive energetically. Their blueprint had been adjusted by a chemical that they had gotten into a couple of life cycles before. And their wings were deformed, so they weren't able to fly. So I was healing the ones that were coming to me, which it was so interesting. They were actually coming to me. And then I made a request when I looked at the hive and recognized what had happened energetically through the blueprints. I made a request and we altered it and reset them back to their wholeness blueprint, their highest blueprint. And I just want to say, lots of beings look creepy to us in the way that we understand what is visually appealing to us. Lots of beings look like they have horns. Lots of beings have pointed teeth. Lots of beings have tentacles. I've seen so many tentacles. Like some beings are just covered in tentacles, all different sizes. Lots of beings don't have a humanoid form. Lots of beings have, there's so many different variations of expression within physicality and in the cosmic, but also the ethereal, that my team really suggests that we take a moment to feel before we make any judgments about what who someone is going to be based on their appearance alone. We are designed to know who someone is, right? We have the ability to discern based on energy signatures, frequencies. So if we see someone and we're loud, you guys, our mental and emotional state is super loud. So if we meet someone who has a strange appearance or something that we find repulsive, they hear and feel all of that. Just FYI. Most beings communicate via consciousness, which is like our version of telepathy and empathic ability and so much more. We are so loud to them. They hear it all. So just know, if you do have a moment of, oh my gosh, you can gather your composure. Most beings do understand that we've been sort of on a planet-sized island for our expressions. So most beings do understand that. But at the same time, I highly recommend getting clear on the differences. And really, for any type of being, whether it is a star being or a being that we would consider, something totally different, having that strong spiritual discernment about who someone is so important in this human expression. So one of the things for connecting and communicating, these are some of the things that are really important. Know your own energy fields. Intend to know, see, hear, feel, and sense your own energy. This teaches you how to trust what you're feeling and receiving. Spend time in nature so that you can really get a sense of who you are, what you feel like. And then connect with the subtle realms. And that can be anything, really. Honestly, we consider most energetics to be subtle because we're so loud. So connect with the subtle realms. That can be plants, animals, crystals, nature. Just remember to treat them with respect because they have consciousness too. And you can also connect with your soul team, right? Meditation is the fastest way to connect with your star family. If you have a regular meditation practice, you've cleared your fear of things that are different and the unknown to the degree that you can, and you are actively embodying love, joy, happiness, playfulness. These are the fastest ways right? To raise your vibration, which is one of the things on this list, but they're also the fastest ways to connect with beings that are high vibrational. And then invite and observe. If you're wanting to connect with them, just invite them in, observe your own energy, what it's like for you. So acknowledge your star families that you want to connect and that you would like to communicate. Ask your soul team to filter for you, which is what we did earlier. Choose to be aware and observe the signs, synchronicities, and be present in your now moments. Pay attention to your dream time and in meditation, and then trust the messages and synchronicities and follow your intuition and inner guidance. Now, all of these things will actually turn your soul senses up greatly as well. And then it's all about stepping into trust. So as infinite creator beings, there's nothing in existence that can usurp our free will, not a single thing. So anchor in that divine sovereign power. Start to step into your sovereignty. If you don't know what sovereignty is, you can look it up online. There's so many, just Google it. There's so many people talking about it right now. And remember that any lower vibrating beings that come into your field, especially after you've asked for the filtering, they are a message to go within because they can see something. And my team and the angels have always told me my entire life that we are invisible to beings unless there is something within our consciousness that they can relate to, that is relevant, right? That is resonant. So this is just an invitation to us to receive them as a messenger and tell them you may take your leave, right? And then go within. What is it that they can see that it's time for me to release, right? And usually they come when we're asking to have discernment. That is one of those tricky ones. When you ask for discernment, you'll receive lots of different situations that help you remember that within yourself. But you can also do it, make the request to deepen the discernment that you currently have, and to do it in ways that are surprising, delightful, and very gentle, right? So you can kind of put some caveats on it. But the lower vibrating beings that connect with us are always, and I have so many, countless experiences with them when I was younger, especially, they're always there to remind us about something within ourselves, whether that's stepping into personal power, whether that's what we want to play in and what we don't, whatever it is, whether that's we have the ability to say no, and they have to listen because this is our expression in this way. But they'll also come to us for exchanges. You guys have probably heard me talk about that. If you've heard me talk in any of the other PTA Portal to Ascension events. But just remember, this is all about empowering ourselves and deflating what no longer serves us and inflating what uplifts us, right? So just remember that we are surrounded and connected to divine soul support in all moments. And star beings communicate differently than us, very differently. Now, lots of them, because we have had years and lifetimes of describing this human experience to them and all of the nuances, and we're doing that a lot in our council meetings now, a lot of them do understand us, especially those beings that are in direct connection with us more frequently now. But they convey entire concepts at one time in a matter of moments. They literally will give you like the history of their planet in seconds, like if they have a planet, right? And so you're looking for downloads, visions, memories within your mind's eye, that place that you replay your memory. Like, where did I leave my keys? And then visually seeing it in your mind's eye. That's the place that their communication comes in. So they'll also communicate with symbols, colors, feelings, all of these things that are on that list, like visuals, mind, movies, sound, knowingness, consciousness travel experiences, dreams. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And then they will often adjust our energetics, physical, mental, and emotional, and sometimes spiritual, as they're starting to make a deep connection with us. And that's just to help us, number one, expand, but also to help that stream of consciousness connection that we do with them, to help it be really stable, like a good Wi-Fi connection, right? And then, as I've said before previously, they definitely reflect who we are back to us. And this is all about remembering who we are. So anytime we have a desire to connect with another being, look at why, right? Why do you want to connect with your galactic family? Is it because your heart and soul is calling out to remember that? Or is it because you're desiring for someone to save the planet? And I would say, look at that intention behind it, even if it is subconscious, because though they will share technology when the time comes, though they will assist us, we got ourselves into this mess and we will get ourselves out of it one way or another. Our collective as a whole, our beautiful planet. There's just been another message come through from a beautiful group of indigenous people, from Gaia. And there are all these messages coming out. And if we're not listening to them and we're not actively embodying what we're receiving in our heart, then the trajectory for us is bleak, right? But there's a version of Earth already in existence that is the 5D new Earth. It's there. We are all, there's so many of us that are visiting it right now, and we're stepping into that, right? But the way we get to it is what we get to choose with our divine sovereign free will. So are we going to go as we're burning humanity's world down, like the world within our collective? Or are we going to go with grace and ease and effortlessness, with an open heart and an open mind? That's what all of this is designed for. It's designed for us to choose. How do we want to do this? What is the way that we want to step into our higher dimensional frequencies and live our life? And that all comes through our inner self, who we are choosing to be in every now moment, how we're choosing to be in every now moment, what we are allowing to remain within our persona and our consciousness, and what we are saying, okay, this is something that I release resistance and attachment to, and I'm going to opt out, and I'm going to bring all of me back into the perfect divine wholeness that I am. Because when we bring that dark, shadowy bit back into the light, everything frequency matches with our divine light. And it's the same with our connection with our galactic, cosmic, and ethereal family members. So allowing ourselves to really bring ourselves back into that unity consciousness, that ability to see the oneness and feel and experience the oneness with beings that are in our 3D reality, but also with beings that are beyond it and beyond the Earth experience. And I just want to say, I think, it's all about anchoring frequencies. And this is a slide from the previous year, but this was something that if I had time, I was going to talk about. But really, it's just about accessing our soul remembrances, integrating them, embodying them, and our soul codes, right? Those codes, keys, and frequencies that we have naturally in a soul. And then really the Ascension is all about accessing that innate multidimensional quality of wisdom and knowledge and all of the things that we are. We are already all of the things that we are seeking, and it's all found within us. And anything that we've adopted and created that no longer serves us, we can opt out of. And the best way to opt out of something is to have zero resistance and zero attachment, and do it through neutral love and above. So I just want to say, be of service, connect with the parallel and simultaneous aspects of our soul and our star families, and lift the illusions of separation and forgetting, and enjoy your journey. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for receiving this presentation. I love you guys so much. And I'm inviting you to join our community, Ascension Catalyst. This is a beautiful community where we are really connecting so deeply with other people who understand this world that we're in the way that we do, and from their perspective lenses, which makes it so interesting. But we're sharing our multidimensional experiences, our starseed experiences, our hybrid walk-in experiences, all of these experiences live and in time, and then really just anchoring those frequencies into our lives as we use our specializations and masteries and remember more of them. We're doing all of this together, and really just being the catalyst of awakening and expansion through our own selves and allowing it to ripple out into the world. And if you want to come to events and things like that with us, feel free. And both of the membership prices are very reasonable. And we would love to have you, Star Fam. We would love to connect with you in this way. And we do a lot of support with each other. So if you would like to work with me, thank you, Neil. I just want to say, Neil, I'm so grateful for, I've been grateful for you for so long, but I'm so grateful for you speaking about your hypnosis journey, because it was amazing. And I feel really honored to do these with people. This is definitely currently part of my soul calling. There's something so beautiful about really getting to explore these deeper elements. And this is not the kind of hypnosis where we quit cigarettes and we do all of these things. This is like a deep dive with your high self and your soul team collective. And I have a new version of hypnosis sessions that are quantum sessions that are coming out soon that are a bit different flavor than the Beyond Quantum Healing that Neil did. The first one is actually out. It's called Activate Financial Abundance. And we're going to work with a team of beings who have collected as a council to assist with this so that we can move our beautiful, beautiful community through the poverty, scarcity, lack, limitation, consciousness that has been so deeply woven into our programming about what money is and how we can or cannot receive it. So I'm really excited about those. If that is lighting you up in any way, you guys can find it on my website. I am redoing my website, so it's not very cute right now, but you'll find it in the hypnosis section. Activate Financial Abundance. Otherwise, I'd say, guys, go to the free gifts and get them. One of the free gifts is the step in, step out experience that I've done so many hundreds of times on Clubhouse and Awaken Ascending, which is one of my first communities that I collaborated with everyone with. And that will help you really get to know your soul team collective one by one, and get to know their frequency and really practice honing that frequency. There's also a rainbow light body meditation on there where you can really raise your frequency. But I highly recommend just going and doing that.